Hi, I'm Megamin and I'd like to ask you a question. Where is endgame content in Genshin Impact? You might have your own answers, but I don't care. But feel free to leave your answers in the comments. Today, I'll be looking into this issue from a lore perspective, since we have to remember Genshin is a story-driven game like all the other miHoYo games. To do this, we need to dig a little deep into the speculation territory and find out what miHoYo writers are thinking and how they act in certain situations, using their previous works, especially Honkai Impact, because that's the closest thing I can think of when saying other miHoYo games. So, without further ado, let's see where Paimon is hiding those endgame content. But before that, hey, like the video and subscribe. I upload theory and lore videos on a weekly basis. Oh, by the way, I am probably going to say endgame content a lot in this video. First, let's start with the in-game clues to where endgame content is. As I previously said, Genshin is a story-driven game, so anything relating to endgame content should be something that will be there until the end of time after we discovered it in the story or in any event. I don't take that crap about storage size being too big. Every region, its storylines, character stories and hangouts all are still in the game files somewhere, even though we have long been since completed it. There needs to be a world building reason for endgame content to exist. Right now, we have no such events or domains or anything that is there to permanently from a world building standpoint, except for the Spiral Abyss obviously. Even that is linked to lore. Most of us know from Unreconciled event that now Spiral Abyss was once a mountain named Pylos Peak, and after the meltdown during the post-Archon War, the mountain melted and the portal appeared. Like the Spiral Abyss, there should be something that indicates there is another abyss or reoccurring monster outbreak or something. From the information I gathered in the past couple of months, I found that in Child's story, he fell into an abyss and trained there for 3 months when only 3 days have passed in Teyvat. This means there is more than one way to reach the abyss. So if we take the Spiral Abyss as one of the entrances towards the abyss, there should be one more in Snezhnaya. Now you see the problem, don't you? Even if this abyss exists, it is still a few years into the future, in the last of the 7 regions. But wait, there is more. You see domains every day, right? What do you see on domains entrances that is similar to Spiral Abyss entrance? Yes, if you are on the same wavelength as me, you should see the symbol that looks like it points in 4 directions. If not, you probably thought of the triquetra. But it's not that important to this topic, but it will get when you get to the real abyss. So from this information, we can come to a speculation that 4 spiral abysses do exist in Teyvat. We know one and can confirm it. Another one is somewhere in Snezhnaya. So keep Child alive. Only he knows where it is. What about the others? Here is the point of no return into speculation territory, and is extremely unlikely to happen. You see, in Surumi Island in 2.2 patch, we got the Rift Hounds, and in 2.3 we got the Golden Wolf Lord. Their description calls them Abyss creatures, and they are with the Abyss monsters in the archive. It is said that they eroded the boundaries of the world, so if they are from the Abyss, why are they now nesting in Surumi? I think these wolves eroded the entrance of an abyss and came out of it. But the gate was closed. Maybe not, who knows? Still not convinced? Look at the placement of Surumi Island. It is the furthest island out of all the Inazuma Islands. Just like the Spiral Abyss is the furthest away from the mainland Mondstadt, at the very edge of the southernmost border of the map. The easiest location for the Abyss monsters to nest when they came out was the abandoned Surumi Island. And with the said leyline disorder happening, I'm sure something more than just Thunderbird's curse is happening there. If my speculations are correct, 4 Abyss entrances should be in Teyvat. One here, one closer to here in Surumi perpendicular to Spiral Abyss, Child's one here for Snezhnaya, and maybe here to complete the square in Nutland, mirroring the symbol of domain entrance. But it is possible that Enkonomiya entrance is the Inazuma Abyss entrance, since it has the similar designs to the Spiral Abyss entrance and sealing of it. And Dark Sea is speculated to be the abyss. If so, the outline could be shifted a bit. Also, on a side note, this explains why abyss monsters are spread out everywhere instead of one dense place and thinning out in numbers as you go further away from that point. Now that the abyss is out of the way, let's talk about events like Windtrace and Labyrinth Warriors. You'll understand why Windtrace is not permanent when you hear its backstory. Back in Mondstadt, early to mid aristocratic period, nobles used to hunt animals with commoners. But in the late periods, nobles used slaves as their plaything and hunt them during specific seasons. But after the fall of Lawrence clan, the tradition translated into Windtrace we know today. Since it was done during specific seasons, only when the hunting season begins the event comes back. So from a pure world building view, sorry guys, had to break the bubble. Windtrace might just not make the cut of being added permanently as endgame content. But Labyrinth Warrior on the other hand is different. After completing the first 3 stages, Shikitaishu adjusted the domain to suit training, and so the last 2 stages of the event. And unlike Windtrace event, the domain didn't canonically disappear after event ended, even though the domain entrance was taken out. This means that it is highly possible that this domain would make a permanent return after some time. When looking at Honkai, there is a similar concept called Memorial Arena, which for the casual player it is different. But if you look at why they exist, it is quite similar. Memorial Arena is said to be a simulated training area for Valkyries, and it can simulate past boss battles in increasing difficulty of the respective level of the player, which in turn, the Onmyo chamber does the same thing by training samurai. So, from a theory standpoint, I am looking forward to seeing this event written permanently as endgame content with a global, maybe not, but at least a server leaderboard for the fastest clear time and whatnot. Now to look into why this endgame content drought. From the information I gathered from the Honkai community, back when the game came out globally, the game only had 2 types of endgame content. The Abyss, which resets twice a week with 80 levels, and Memorial Arena, which resets once a week with player-dependent leaderboard system. Compared to that, Genshin only has the Spiral Abyss as permanent endgame content for now, which at this point most veteran players can clear within 1 hour. As for the events, 1 story chapter with 2 side events or just 2 relevantly sized events per 6-week patch. Compared to that, Genshin has about 4 to 5 events per patch in random scales in size, like mini events like the Dream Bloom event or hardcore events like Twisted Realms. Just by looking at these differences, I can say that Genshin is trying to give out something to everyone. Some players like hardcore battles and min-maxing, but sleeps on everything else. On the other side of the spectrum, some players hate even the thought of doing Spiral Abyss and like exploring and housing-like mechanics. If you look at the beginning of Honkai, it was kinda all over the place. If you played during the global launch days, you know what I am saying. The story was not the best attraction, but in the global launch, they reworked the whole game, made new cutscenes and all this stuff. And then Will of Harsha hits. That's when the game began to get traction. But still, we have to remember that Honkai was there to mature for about 3 years since CN launch, from 2016 to 2018 global. And now, after 5 years, Honkai has added post-Honkai Odyssey, Elysian Realm and all those new endgame content along the way. Compared to that, Genshin is still 1 year old with no CN and global server patch difference. So, give miHoYo some time, there will be more in the future. Until then, if you are bored, do the dailies, do some domains, do events if you have anything left, help someone random in co-op, take care of your teapot, and maybe read some lore. There is plenty of interesting things to find in the archive. Or you can check out my other theory and lore videos. That is the end of my observations. Maybe I am just inhaling lethal amounts of copium right now, and maybe delusional to think there will ever be 4 spiral abysses. But hey, This is just a theory in a random dude's head on the internet. Smash like if you enjoyed the video. Tell me your thoughts in the comments and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, let your imaginations run wild.